Fusion University and OpTic Academy. So gentlemen, take it away.
And thus we go into Nepal. It's not all sunshine this time here, Jamerson. In fact, it's quite cold. And coming from Minnesota, I'm actually completely okay with this. Throw me into the frosty abyss.
You know, right now we got a little bit of smattering of rain, and that's all about I can take. The snow, not quite my climate, although I enjoy it. But take a look at this coming out from OpTic Academy's EP. Grace hovering over that Sombra. So looks like they're going to go for that triple support style.
Well, you take a look at it here, and yeah, they are going to be opening up with triple support, which is a little bit different because normally they run the Sombra at the cost of one of their supports. Instead, they're going to be running the Moira to keep people healed up, and Gray, he's going to be playing a very aggressive Sombra here in all likelihood.
Yes, the Sombra vs Sombra. Zachary on the opposite end running that. Gray getting some good damage off. Got the hack onto that Winston. So he's not able to kite away, except by walking away. Gray has to translocate out.
And notice how aggressive OpTic's being. They had the Moira healing in the back. They dove right in. They're powering through Fusion University right now. And now Zachary under assault, caught out by Sharp. But while that's going on, Bulls D-Mech, so it's not a clear win for OpTic here so far, but they're pushing Fusion back. They're keeping them in this corner, and Sharp's diving in deeper. Doesn't quite get the D-Mech on the Diva, though, but they're still diving in. There's the D-Mech, and it was off the Moira healing that OpTic was able to keep them pushed back.
The Moira healing along with that damaged Ponzer with the Coalescence, forcing them all back, and so Fusion University will give up the point. It's OpTic Academy to take it first.
OpTic Academy getting first control, and now you look at Sharp, and who are you? Both pulse bombs charged up and at the ready. Who are you, though? Almost getting checked by Gray, down to 1 HP before he's able to recall out of there, but he's built up the EMP. Fusion, they're coming through. They're all clumped. Gray has no chill, dives on in, drops the EMP, and Sharp falls through with the pulse bomb. It's 4 uncontested kills, and OpTic Academy keeps control.
And this is what we're seeing. There's a reliance upon the Sombras to actually try to get the hack or the EMP off on the tanks instead. Before, when there were Zenyatas in the fray, they were the main target, but now they're as valuable as a target to just go on for the tanks, get rid of their defensive cooldowns.
Alarm got picked off early there. That's buying even more time for OpTic in this situation. Fusion, they have some degree of time here. It's at 40%. They get maybe 3 more pushes, but they really need a good EMP out of Zachary.
So Zachary, he is lurking with it right now, waiting to go in. But OpTic Academy, they're staying spread apart. They are making sure that they're not clumped up for a huge EMP right now as FU make their entrance.
Fusion University gonna go straight in to the right, turning back into the point. They're gonna zone out Gray in the beginning, then move on in. OpTic, now they have to make their move. The sound barrier's out early on, and Zachary drops the EMP, doesn't actually hit too much. OpTic Academy able to maintain their sound barrier here, moving in on the other side, but while that went on, Fusion was able to get control, so it's up to OpTic now to come back in. We're gonna see the Coalescence in from the Ponzer, letting Sharp go in even deeper, and he picks off both supports as a result. Sharp, with enormous help here, picks off 3.
Yeah, those are huge kills at the least. Now, FU were able to put the point in the very least there, so not too much loss for them, trading that away. 24% is what they will secure. OpTic Academy, though, they're just 2 short team fights away from securing this first point.
And OpTic played a scary game there where they gave up control of the point and let Fusion get 24%, but they did that for better positioning when they went on in. Now you go to the next team fight. Gray can set up the EMP. Fusion University is very clumped here. They lose Who Are You? Gray one-on-one him to the side. Now we can come into the main fight. EMP flank on the way, waiting for it to the skies, drops the EMP, and OpTic is in a great situation to clean up once more.
Yeah, it's great because like you had mentioned, Gray had started it off taking out Who Are You on the opposite end, and that's what he's been doing this entire time. He's been waiting for that flank. You know how a lot of Tracers just try to go onto the points to try and draw the enemy forces to come back. Instead, it's Who Are You there to check him the whole time.
And we're in overtime right now. Fusion University has to get to the point, and they can't even touch it to keep it in overtime. OpTic went to the doorway there, stopped people from being able to get in, and that was pretty dominant coming out from OpTic, but what I'm just gonna point out here is how many times Who Are You got the raw end of a deal versus Gray, where Gray was able to win those Sombra versus Tracer matchups.
Yeah, and that's what's been allowing Sharp to just open up, that he doesn't have to worry about her. He's actually just going full damage dealing Tracer here, going after the supports and the tanks, while on the opposite end, Gray was just making sure he was checking Who Are You the entire time. Normally, you know, you don't have a Sombra just staying on top of the point waiting for her, but that's what he was doing. He was just camping the point, waiting for Who Are You.
Well, we do have rather big swap-ups here. Sombra no longer in play. OpTic Academy, well, now as I say that, Sombra's back in play. Gray was gonna go McCree, now goes Sombra, but it's going up against a very standard dive from Fusion University.
So yeah, it's Zachary now on the Tracer as Who Are You swaps over to that Genji. We'll see if has better success this time around, but already Zachary forced away. Sharp has the health pack along with the Sombra to help him out, but it's Alarm to start it off. Vol has fallen.
Alarm from downtown takes down Vol and gets Sharp. The instant revenge comes around the flank. While this is going on, it's Fusion University diving in deeper because they did have that early man advantage. And Sharp, there's only so much you can do from the back line because the front line of Fusion University was just so strong here.
Yeah, ostensibly though, it was because OpTic Academy, they were fighting a 2v1 by that mega health pack, while the rest of Fusion University, they were fighting a 5v4 over on the ledge. They had the man advantage, they had the space for Alarm to get that first pick.
And don't forget, for Fusion University, there's very good coordination between Who Are You and Beast Halo with Crackalack in there, where the tanks go in, Who Are You's in right after. OpTic's trying to be in here early, but instead, Lucio gets Discord Orbed, focused to a degree, but he's able to get out. Zachary got the raw end of the Ponzer, so now OpTic can come in, but it's evened out. It's 5-on-5. Fusion is still controlling space pretty well, but it's Sharp into the back, takes down 2, and Sharp is really the problem that so far Fusion University has been unable to deal with.
Yeah, he's been largely invisible towards the enemy team. They haven't been able to keep him in check at all now, but we do have FU coming back for the recontest. Great pulse bomb. Sharp has not let go of the gas.
No, he has been in full throttle the entire time. Took down an extra 3 there as Fusion University was just trying to stall and keep progress. Now, it's worth noting that despite winning on the outskirts, that's actually OpTic Academy's first take here. Fusion University is still in a very good spot, but Sharp looking for Zenyatta. Zenyatta hunting season once more, gets him down with the help of Gray, and the flank between Sombra and Tracer works out real well for OpTic there.
Indeed, and so now 20% for OpTic Academy as the EMP comes out. Gray focusing down Who Are You? Who Are You has not had a great map so far.
No, and it's just been these flanks that have been stopping Fusion from even getting good engagements. How many times do we see them move in, but someone's already down? And a lot of it comes down to Sharp and Gray working the backline very, very effectively here so far.
And so, Gray, his EMP spent, but he's already built up another 30% now. OpTic Academy, they're going to be relying upon Ponzer along with Vol, a tactical visor, and the Transcendence. He's trying to get into the back.
And Who Are You? He's going to be looking for the blade, but he has to know Transcendence is up. But now the Transcendence has been used. If Who Are You can stay alive here, he got hacked. He's going to fall to a pit. He does! He's unable to stay alive. Wasn't able to wall climb his way out of that there. And OpTic, off the early Who Are You pick, they use Transcendence to keep themselves alive, but they don't have to worry about the blade. This is where Who Are You would have loved to have come in. However, you have Beast Halo still zoning out while this is going on. They tried to take the point in the interim, but OpTic's now fighting back, and they can invest a sound barrier here if it's really necessary. But with Vol in a safe position in the back, I don't think they have to.
Indeed, and so now OpTic Academy, they're on the edge, almost there, taking this first map 2-0 up against Fusion University. They're gonna have to be relying upon the blade barrier combo for Fusion University, but we've seen Gray just focusing Who Are You this entire time, making sure he's not able to do anything at all with those individual hacks.
He needs to not get hacked in the beginning here, simple as that. Fusion University, they dive in, Elk with the barrier, Who Are You with the blade, dive into the back line, and it's countered by another barrier. Who Are You now can't really secure kills here, has to back out 93 HP. Meanwhile, Gray's built up EMP, drops it on the point. They look for Zachary, he's hacked, can't really do anything there. 4 versus 4 here still on the point, and OpTic off the hack. Vol has room to breathe, gets 2 with the tac visor, and it's looking like OpTic Academy will be taking this round and taking the map.
Beast Halo gets cleaned up, and as overtime ticks away, OpTic Academy, it's gonna be an easy, I would say, 2-0 for them here on Nepal, taking the first map.
I want to say, ZP, now we came into this and you said that these teams represented approximately, in your mind, the first and second teams in the group. Now, do you want to maybe clarify what you meant when you said that?
Honestly, I thought it could go either way because historically, Fusion University has put up a very good fight against OpTic. I mean, they beat them back when they were Chicken Ranch Pizza, a much more delicious sounding name than OpTic Academy.
For sure.
But there is a difference for OpTic Academy here. Not only is it a different patch where Gray can flex on Sombra a little bit more, they're also now in one location where before they were playing like some in Europe, some in Korea. So the ping is a different factor, but that was dominant.
Jamerson, we came into this talking about the potential impact a Sombra pick could have. We saw both teams pretty willing to go to it, at least in Village there. Would you say that Sombra was kind of the definitive factor of this series?
I would
Or sorry,
say
this
so.
match, rather.
I would say so for sure, especially with the way that Gray played it. Gray understood how Village plays out, and especially if you already have control of the point. You know that most tracers will just try and get on there, try to force back the enemy team, split them apart, create some space for your team that way. But he was there. Gray was there the entire time, waiting for Who Are You to jump on it, and as soon as he did, the hack came out, and he was forced to just recall away. And if he didn't, well, he got hacked and he got killed.
So I do have a counterpoint to this line of reasoning, which is that, was it the chicken or was it the egg here? Because I think Sharp's play was so absolutely ridiculous in the series in terms of just being a threat into the backline, getting kill after kill as you see here. Can you worry about the Sombra when Sharp is doing this to you? I don't know. I mean, certainly it's harder to worry about the Tracer when the Sombra is there, but I kind of feel like Sharp was a scarier threat in this case.
Yeah, we did discuss Sombra, but we also, before we got into this map, we discussed just how important the Tracer play was going to be and if Zachary could go toe-to-toe with Sharp. And, you know, this is just map 1, still a lot of series we play, but I would say that Sharp definitely looking like the standout Tracer player here.
I mean, there are a lot of things that really do help out. Because you do have that Sombra, you also have the health pack controls. So he always had the upper hand up against either Who Are You or Zachary when they were going in, if they had to go for TVTs. I mean, we saw on the onset for Sanctum that he was there immediately to check him over at the Mega Health Pack with the help of Sharp there. So it was a difficult task just to try and play a Tracer at all in this matchup.
All right, so that's going to be the first one going over to OpTic Gaming. Still plenty of daylight here for Fusion to go ahead and make a move. Up next is going to be Nimbani Arc Hybrid map.
As we move into Nimbani, I mean, this doesn't surprise me too much coming in from Fusion University. I think Hollywood would also be very good for them here as well, but this is a case where you can let Who Are You get early momentum in the map and then just use that to get through second relatively quickly. Who Are You does kind of like starting out particularly fast. I don't think it was really ideal for him that, you know, he had to use Genji only on the second map there, didn't get to use on first, where I think his Tracer's pretty hit or miss, but you throw him on a map where he can go Genji the entire time, I think it's a better look for him.
This is another map, though, where I do really favor the Sombra play, especially on third. She has so many different avenues to try and get into the back line that it becomes very difficult to play against it.
Yeah, it's worth noting that if you are new to Contenders, the maps are actually picked by the losers of the prior map, so this was Fusion Academy's pick. So, of course, as you were saying, there were options here, and they elected to go with Nimbani, feeling they had a stronger opportunity here to tie up the series. We're going to go ahead and hop into this game, however. It is going to be OpTic Academy versus Fusion University on Nimbani.
Now, here's my question, and I don't think OpTic Academy would go with this. I really don't think we'd see the Torbjorn, but given that we saw in a previous matchup that Who Are You actually had real issues dealing with the Torbjorn turret, would you consider running a Torbjorn here, Jamerson, versus him specifically, just given the fact that on Hanamura a week ago, it actually seemed to mess him up a bit?
I see why not. I mean, it happened. NRG pulled it out on Hanamura. This is definitely a map where you can pull out the Torbjorn, but they're not going to. OpTic Academy on their defense, they're just going to go standard with the Soldier 76 Tracer, and then, of course, the rest of that dive composition coming out. Now, Gray, though, on the Ana, could possibly be a weak point here if the dive jumps on top of her.
And you have to think that's going to be a key target for Who Are You and Zachary, where they're going to look to go to the back line even as they move through the front. And Fusion University, not really much subtlety here. They move in off a great bio-nade, or that came in early on from Alarm on the offensive Ana, but Zachary loses the Tracer v Tracer. So already, OpTic Academy can now come back the other way, and it's going to be forcing Fusion University back a bit because they did just suffer that early pick.
Yeah, interesting position where that actual TVT took place. It was on the point there, so Sharp was ready to try and catch him, and that's what he's going to be doing, it looks like, for this matchup. Just make sure he's playing out on the flanks, and he just keeps Zachary in check.
Now, let's not forget what we saw from OpTic Academy a week ago, where they're more than willing to bend back and let Sharp flank every single time. So Fusion University, they need to key in on this. This is game tape that we've had about OpTic Academy. How they play here is not a secret.
Now, Alarm, though, is close to that Nano, so she's at 75% now is Alarm on that Ana. But they are just going to go for that vanilla dive going into top, but there is Smurf with the counter dive.
OpTic Academy, they bend back a little bit, and while they're doing, look at Sharp coming in from the back right now, drops the Pulse Bomb, D-Mex Diva. This is exactly how OpTic played a week ago, and it's working out for them here. Sharp isn't getting the opportunity to go on the supports, but he's still getting a good flank. Still, it's 5-on-5, Fusion University. They drop the Nano Boost to make a little bit more room because they put it on Beast Halo, who's zoning OpTic out. OpTic has not fought this back here just yet. Who Are You's built up a Blade mid-fight. Bomb out from Zachary, doesn't connect, but the Blade is out from Who Are You on the other side, but Keller's forcing him back with that tactical visor.
Yeah, the tactical visor picks up 3. Who are you? Only with the 1 now, so 2 minutes almost gone from FU's attack here. And OpTic Academy are just doing a great job on this defense. Like you had mentioned, they bend back and then they strike back at Fusion University. And it's all down to all down to Sharp, who's doing a great job of focus firing the primary targets, getting that Diva mech gone to allow Keller to go in with that tactical visor. That is huge.
And we're going to see this again, where Smurf might be a little bit more aggressive here. He has the Primal Rage to start out the fight. Now you see Fusion University go in. Beast Halo under heavy assault. They need to back out and let him heal. Smurf gets into the thick of Fusion University here. Dashing away, doesn't let Diva escape. He was just knocking her back. She is able to get away finally, but takes longer. Pulse Bomb in from Sharp, looking for the backline and gets it. Gets Crackalacken out of the mech. And Fusion University, they just got discombobulated on coming in.
There seems to be an unwillingness coming up from Fusion University. Now, when I keep talking about that vanilla dive right here on Numbani, it's pretty clear cut. The Soldier 76 who holds that right side high ground, you just force him away without using your cooldowns, right? You just walk up to him, force him down onto the low ground, and then from there the rest of your team jumps on top of him. But they just stop right there at the bridge. They don't continue with the dive. That's where you get the execute onto the Soldier 76, but they're not committing.
Well, the one thing for Fusion University, they did swap to the Zen in the last fight. They will have a Transcendence up fairly soon. Bomb out from Zachary, looking for anything, not going to connect. Still back on the point, the self-destruct gets Gray, and Fusion University now with an option here. They're down, who are you, but it's 5-on-5. The healing for OpTic is way less, but Keller builds up attack visor here mid-fight, and he's going to use it. Gets away from the Winston bubble, goes to the left, and Sharp with the follow-through. That's going to be enough for OpTic here, or will it not? Zachary got Keller. Keller went too deep, and OpTic, they're taking this fight into the trenches.
Yeah, Smurf jumps in with that Primal Rage, corners Lucio. Elk falls now. With that, it's going to be another cleanup coming out from OpTic Academy, and now they're 20 seconds away from just full holding Fusion University. They haven't even gotten the tick yet.
This is quite bad here for Fusion University. They're coming up on their final attack. The final 12 seconds are among us here. And you have to look towards Zachary and Beast Halo. Beast Halo can go in and disrupt with the Primal Rage. Who are you has the blade, so they have options here from their front line, from their flankers. Beast Halo gonna draw attention early on. Bomb out from Zachary, doesn't connect. Who are you goes in, blade out, gets Vol. I think the bomb was actually on Vol there, so it's a combination between Who are you, Zachary. They get Vol out of the fight early on. Zachary goes in deeper. Both tanks for OpTic out of the fight, essentially, but Sharp pulls it back, evens up the tank game, taking down 2. It's an equalizer, and now OpTic can actually get back onto this point, but they've given up 2 ticks. Fusion doubles down, they drop the barrier, and they go in on the other side. They keep OpTic back, and they take the first point.
They will ultimately, yeah, take the point. It was just raw brute force coming out from them. They had both the blade along with the bomb, and Zachary started off huge. Take him out. Who are you? Still having a rough series. Hasn't been as impactful as his DPS counterpart here. Sharp gets an early pick off onto Alarm, but it's okay because the payload hasn't moved that far away from their spawn.
It has not moved away that far yet, but OpTic, now they have to come in here quickly because this is where a team can build momentum. Fusion, they have the Transcendence up, they have the bomb. Zachary already in the back looking for it. Bomb goes out, connects. Keller out of the fight immediately. Now Fusion University can go in even deeper. They've gotten that early pickoff. They don't have to worry about the Soldier. And Sharp's doing what he can to try and hold things back, but the payload is getting max progress all the while.
Yep, the payload is pushing forward, but Keller can sprint on back. So OpTic Academy will have a full 6-man fight for this retake. Keller be coming in probably from the high ground with that tactical visor. No, instead he just opts to take the low ground here. Sharp waiting for the next pulse bomb.
Fusion's not gonna let them breathe. They take down Sharp immediately. The best pick you could get. Keller, tac visoring here, uses it to get Crackalacken, but blown up all the while. The revenge from the grave is Who are you? Dash resetting his way on and through. And Fusion University now getting their first real momentum of the match, and this could be huge as they go into third.
Gray, the last remaining member of OpTic Academy on the points with that Fusion University, will take it. So they're making up for lost time here. 2 minutes and 30 seconds. While OpTic Academy, they are scrapping to try and get back into this. Might be with this next play. They do have the pulse bomb along with the sound barrier to fight against Fusion.
And Gray swapped to Zen here. He wants Transcendence for final fight defenses, but he's not gonna have it for a while. Now, what OpTic has to be aware of here is the blade tearing them to shreds while they don't have that Transcendence. Beast Halo dives on in. Who are you? Waiting for his opportunity. Gets poked down, but the bomb to the back. Zachary connects on the Keller once more. Who are you? Once he gets healed up, the blade's gonna be coming up here. He's back up to full HP. Waiting for his opportunity. Fusion just healing. They know they still have that man advantage, but Who are you? Gets chunked again. Meanwhile, it's Sharp on the left side, doing poke damage all the while. Who are you's had enough. The blade is out, grabs one, diving to the back, and it's enough here. Enough damage has been done as Fusion moves in even further. They drop the barrier, and OpTic is in full retreat.
That was a great setup. It was a protracted fight, but it started off Beast Halo getting to the back line with the Primal Rage, along with the bomb out from Zachary, forcing out that sound barrier, which was really the only thing that could try and slow down Who Are You. Now, Who Are You did slow play that, but he knew that with the swap off from the Zenyatta, there's no transcendence. He did not have to speed through that. He did not have to rush things. He could just wait for the perfect setup. What it was really waiting for was for Beast Halo and Crackalacken to get healed up first, because they were dropped down to about 100, 200 HP between the two of them.
Well, to your point, what Fusion did that was really smart there is that even if they got the early pick, they didn't all dive in to commit on it. They backed up, they waited for healing. Who Are You showed enormous patience and knew, okay, let's get full HP, let's get an orb on me, then I'm gonna go back in, cut the way through some tanks, and lead the way. They build up a barrier and they secure the fight. So Fusion looked to come alive there in the latter half of Nimbani.
Yeah, indeed, and there was what you said during the middle of the map there. That OpTic Academy have to do something, have to nip it in the bud there. As Fusion University, they did really build up momentum off of that one team fight.
And I would argue that based on just Nimbani historically, they're in a bit of an edge here. It's not guaranteed that you finish out Nimbani. Oftentimes teams are not able to get through third, so not just getting through third, but getting through third with a minute 37 on the time bank. Fusion is very well prepared here to move this into a 1-1 situation.
Yeah, I would completely agree here. I was surprised that Gray didn't opt to go for that Sombra, especially because I really do like the Sombra on third. She has a great path to try and just get onto the high ground instead of having to try and use her stealth to get back there. She could just take the high ground, get a hack off, and then jump down.
Now, OpTic is going to go with the Gray special, where any team Gray has been on, they go for this, right? Where it's one support, and then you run an extra DPS where Gray gets to sort of flex his DPS chops here. This is classic OpTic on Nimbani, or really, not even OpTic, it's classic Gray on Nimbani, and that's what they're going to be running here.
So Gray now swapping over to that Sombra, so having that check power up against Who Are You and Zachary veto any move that they try to make.
Well, it's close enough. It's not. He's not on the soldier, but he's on Sombra, and they're sacrificing supports. It's still not the average Sombra comp we see nowadays. So it's still in that same vein of we don't need a main support here. We're just going in. Gray gets a hack early on, gonna back out, but they have to be careful. They don't have staying power. When they commit to the dive here, they have to go in, and oh boy, are they committing. They dive directly in. They take down Crackalacken immediately, and now they're gonna back up a little bit. Smurf's out of the fight. You don't want to take this fight so far deep that you can't get reinforcements, and I think OpTic went a little bit too far here. They still get a tick, but Fusion's gonna be coming in fast and furious with an edge.
Fusion are coming back in. Gray is over the top. Now it's Vol to get the first frag onto Crackalacken. Who Are You only answering with the mech now, and so OpTic Academy, they're trying to stabilize with Sharp here, coming up a hero for his team.
Well, this is where Sharp is thriving in the chaos right now. The fight is taking place here, there, and everywhere as Sharp continues to pick off leftovers. Fusion University wasn't able to reestablish because as they're running back to the point, it was just Sharp unchecked in the back line, getting player after player. And again, Sharp's not a player you can ignore. There has to come a point here where Zachary needs to go on permanent Sharp duty.
That's a lot of time for OpTic Academy. It only took really a push and a half for them to get it. So now 5 minutes and 10 seconds is what's on their clock now. Fusion University need to stem the tide just a bit, but do they have the tools? Not quite yet. Elk will have that nano boost. We'll see if it goes on to Who Are You or Beast Halo. Who Are You is close to that blade.
We'll see if they can even fight. Sharp's still sneaking to the back. He's going to be striking it. Look at him from the side. EMP out. Gray setting it up, and Gray gets both supports off of that. He was supported by the tank front line, but the EMP does its job, and this is a rout in favor of OpTic Academy.
The fight will go over to OpTic Academy, but with where they engaged upon Fusion University, as long as they never mind, they lost Beast Halo. This is going to be a tough task now. They're going to have to try and come in for the retake, and possibly a 5v6 scenario.
Teams don't normally hold long on second anyways, but Fusion now, they're stuck with a really rough choice. Do they dive in here last minute for a little bit of delay? Probably not, especially if alarm goes down. Yeah, now you go. Now you move on to point. 4 meters, 3 meters. Crackalacken goes in. Fusion University, they're going to punish OpTic here, where OpTic should have had an easy fight. And now OpTic, they're going to invest ults here despite being down a man. They're going to try and fight back Fusion University. This could be a huge turnabout if Fusion could just get one more pick.
Yeah, getting a fight here just before second is actually pretty huge. It stops the momentum very strong. As the respawn distance is about the same. Pulse bomb comes out. Sharps did not connect there. Keller will with the blade, though.
Keller's in the back. OpTic is still fighting this, but this is so good for Fusion University. You've kind of baited OpTic into a bad fight as Beast Halo just smacks Keller down. This is big for Fusion University, and OpTic, they didn't need to go as far deep there. Gray didn't need to get picked off, and OpTic is now going to pay the price in about another 2 minutes taken off the clock.
Yeah, OpTic, they went for a very risky play there, and it is going to punish them. They used so many ultimates. They committed almost everything into that Fusion University. They were just finding anything. They were trying to find anything to stabilize into it, and with that, well, there it is. You got your stabilization. Kraken does have the self-destruct, so he can try to delay as OpTic Academy try to push forward into this fight.
And you have full swap-ups here. Gray now back to the Transcendent. Zachary on the McCree. Sharp, again, probing for weakness here, but you can't flank as easily on this point. He's just going to go in. Now, note, Fusion University does have to come back over. Beast Halo throwing his body on the point. Who are you? Focused down. Wasn't able to get away from Smurf. But Fusion University punishing most of this dive, coming back the other way. Sharp not able to get quite as much done on the outskirts. Zachary is checking him right now. And as a result, OpTic actually will be thrown back once more.
Yeah, and it does come down to the geography of the map here. There are just so many, the routes that you have to take as a Tracer all funnel into one basic lane, and so it's difficult to try and get that flanking play. It's hard to get the high ground even as a Tracer now, and so we're seeing already it's OpTic Academy taking this high ground here. They want to be able to just dive in, be able to see the target in the back, but take a look at how far back FU are playing.
Fusion University, they know just how far back they can play while getting back on the payload. They have to contest it here, and they're going to engage with the Transcendence. OpTic, they haven't fully engaged here. They're not backing out. This is very intelligent. They're disengaging as much as they can here. Now they're going to re-engage with the Baron. Transcendence gone. They punish Who Are You and Sharp. So much room to work with the Keller as Keller slices through the back line.
Keller will slice through, and with that, they'll slice on through to the second checkpoint, moving on to third. 3 minutes and 20 seconds is what's going to be left on their clocks now. And so they can arguably beat FU's time, but it's going to be difficult. It's going to come down to these last few fights.
And now we'll see what Sharp can do here, right? Where this is where, again, he's been a terror to Fusion University, getting early pickoffs in the fight. He's been a little bit more muted the last few minutes of the game. He's sticking with the team now, but you take a look. He's going to go off to the left side. OpTic going to be going up the front, and while they're doing this, Fusion University dives in. They don't let Sharp get set up. With the quick strike, they get Gray. And now Who Are You pulls out the blade, looking for more. OpTic unsettled here as Aid is slashed right down.
So Vol sends himself over the edge here, but OpTic Academy, they didn't really commit too much into it. They did use the barrier along with Keller swapping off now. And so his ultimate is reset, but they've got 4 ready for this next fight while Fusion University committed quite a bit now. So OpTic Academy, they are going to go ahead and take that high ground. I want to see if Keller wants to try and move up there. Instead, he goes for that main approach.
This is a must-win fight for OpTic. If they invest all this and don't get anything, Fusion is likely going to hold them here. So even though they have 2 minutes, that is an illusion. This is a fight they need to take on their own. They lose Gray immediately. Zachary off the flank strikes for Fusion University. They're, again, going to dive into OpTic, but maybe they've gone a little bit too far deep. They regroup here. They take down Kraken. Zachary almost picked off in turn, and OpTic now, they can invest in Transcendence and come back the other way.
Yeah, we have Smurf going in too. He does have that primal raise, so he's got that extra lifeline now. Fusion University double downs into this fight with that sound barrier, but OpTic Academy expertly just kites away and waits it out.
Another good disengage by OpTic, and this is going to be followed by an engage. They move in. They get Beast Halo down immediately. Gray, sensing blood in the water, invests in Transcendence. 6-on-5 edge, everyone getting healed. Sharp goes to the back line, fighting Zachary, but he's not hitting the back while this is going on. Zachary is checking him right now, and the self-destruct slows down OpTic from Kraken, gives Fusion time to breathe in the situation, and they're going to be able to reset to a degree here.
Yeah, FU are doing a great job of just keeping this point contested at all. Gray starts it off, though. Zachary's gone, along with Beast Halo, who jumps in too deep. Now, Who Are You tries to go for a blade, but he's got no HP behind it, and he will fall.
I said uh-oh there because that was not well set up. Beast Halo was in way before Who Are You was, and OpTic was just ready there to punish it. The coordination from Fusion University wasn't there, and now OpTic moving the payload on forward. Down to the final minute. Sharp drops the bomb, doesn't connect, and Fusion at the last moment gets to the payload in time. OpTic, they still want to take this. They drop the barrier, not able to get much off it here. Keller with the tac visor, doesn't have many good targets in the beginning. Fusion gets reset, but Zachary, a little bit too far out, is checked. Now OpTic's gonna go back in the other way. They still have that 6-on-5 edge. They're looking for anything, but the Transcendence will again buy time. The self-destruct over the top, though, as OpTic continues to needle Fusion University. But Jamerson, if Fusion could just hold for another 28 seconds, it'd be fine, but all does enough! And OpTic Academy finishes out the map and still gets to go to extra rounds.
Yeah, it was a little bit difficult there. They had the right idea behind it. It started off with Killer with that Soldier 76 tactical visor. He knew that neither side, or excuse me, neither supports on the opposite side had their ultimates because they had used it in the fight prior, and they did not have enough time to build up another one. But you got to make sure you get rid of that Diva first. Now, ultimately, they were able to just brute force it on through Kraken and getting demeched, and then Vol there just with the cleanup. And so with that, and most importantly, is, of course, it wasn't an overtime push, so OpTic Academy will have another opportunity to attack point A.
We didn't really talk about it too much, but there was a winning condition there, right? Where Fusion University, they didn't need to hold off that push forever. They just needed to hold off until no time was left. And then OpTic wouldn't get an attack. But because OpTic got in with a little bit of time left on the clock, that gets topped off to a minute, and they do get a chance here. But it's not much of a chance. They get one good attack and maybe one revenge attack at the best. So the winning condition for OpTic here is you win the first fight, and then you just do a lot with overtime.
Yeah, when we saw the difference coming out from OpTic Academy on their offense here on point A is that they did really hard commit onto the dive and made sure that Fusion University, they couldn't just fight at the bend there. Instead, they chased them almost all the way back to spawn while they had someone on the point for presence to make sure that there was progress being made. And so they're going to start it off again, this time Gray, not on the Sombra, but picking up the Soldier 76 instead.
This is the classic Gray composition, minus a Sombra. This is what he used to run with Laserkins. This is what he runs here. The bulk of the team's going right, and he's sneaking to the left. He wants him to counter dive here. Beast Halo hasn't seen him yet. He's very close. Uh-oh. He's found. Gray was not as sneaky as he thought, but it pulls the Winston over to him, which means Winston isn't in the fray of the fight. It opens up Smurf for room, and it leads to first two pickoffs here from OpTic because Beast Halo wasn't there.
Beast Halo wasn't there, but he has gotten back into the fray now. They've got members on the point. They've got to stay on there to at least secure that tick, but Zachary comes in to stop any progress and stop them from taking a ticket. Now OpTic Academy in critical condition.
They went a little bit too far deep there. They still need to play the point. They went so far deep that Gray couldn't rejoin the fight when Beast Halo disengaged, and now they're down to 10 seconds. Will they be able to touch a point? Likely, but the setup's gonna be very rough.
It is going to be rough indeed. Beast Halo, close to that Primal Rage, can just bat them around. Sharp is on the point just to make sure he gets overtime here. Has to recall away. It's Vol to start it off.
Vol gets Elk early. Smurf, though, a little bit too far deep. 5 on 5 right now. Gray with plenty of room to work with as a Soldier in the back. This is where Soldier can be so good. They're not running the extra support, but the extra DPS is working. And again, it's Gray. But look at Zachary. Back the other way. Who are you at the blade? He can shut this down right here, right now. Moving on to the point. Booped back by Aid. Doesn't care. Gets the reset. Slashes him down anyways. And Fusion University looking like they're going to stop this right here on the bottom.
Now we've had a complete turn on this fight here. Fusion University now with about 2 minutes to get one tick on to the first point, and they will tie this up 2-2. But OpTic Academy, of course, have the opportunity to end this round in a draw.
And we did see a very good defense from OpTic earlier on, where they just, again, what is their defense? They bend back and let Sharp attack from the sides, but here's the thing, is that this defense actually won't be as successful in this specific situation because normally they play around the idea that giving up a tick isn't a big deal. Well, giving up a tick here means you lose the map, so they have to be more aggressive than they normally are.
Yeah, under normal circumstances, the ticks are a resource. They're a meter, right, that you can actually count and read. But now they don't have any resources left. And so at this point, Fusion University, they can apply the pressure. Beast Halo, hovering over the Reinhardt. Who are you? Has made the swap on over, and we're even seeing a Moira coming in. So a triple tank composition. I like this. They know that they have to fight on the point, so they're going to have a composition do it, but it's going to be difficult for them to challenge the high ground because it's going to come down solely to Krakenlaken.
This is a little bit risky and perhaps a tad overkill. It is sort of playing into the idea that OpTic likes to bend back and you don't want to give tanks tons of room. But if OpTic's able to fight this back, they're going to be charged up on ultimates in a very good position for the next fight. You can't swap off those in 2 minutes. You are now committed to this tank setup, so Fusion University, they're kind of putting all their eggs in this initial fight basket.
So they just go ahead and take lower and push on to the point. Oh boy, you got to be careful as Gray does get the biotic nade off, but he's so close to everybody. Who are you? Has to back away, takes a breather, but they'll be able to regroup quickly and push forward.
And the key here, they want Alarm to get the early Coalescence, right? Where take damage, give Alarm the Coalescence, go on the point, make OpTic beat you here, limit what Sharp can do. And that's what they're doing. They're getting onto the point, getting forced off of it. Zachary actually really far up, but he goes for the Ana and gets it with Crack-a-Lack-It. Who are you? Gonna hook in the Diva. Do they get the D-Mech? They do. Fusion University doing enough here, the pushback OpTic, and there's the Coalescence Alarm. Uses it to heal his team, finish off the Winston, and Keller might have the Tac Visor, but no one else is left alive. And Fusion University, their Gambit here, Jamerson, looking effective as they're very close to taking this map.
It's just the slow grind coming out from them. All they want to do is hook a target in, focus them down with the Reaper, and with that, it is going to be Fusion University to tie it up 1-1 after Numbani.
What a series right there. Fusion University, we saw them just get so much better in that map as that map progressed. We saw OpTic really early just kind of taking them to task and saying, okay, you're not going to get this point. They finally do get it. They managed to start breezing through on point 2, 3, cap it, and then OpTic was just not able to keep in line with them as that map progressed.
If I had to say what the turning point for the match was, and we called it at the time, is that Gray went really far up on the OpTic attack when OpTic was doing quite well, got picked off in a situation that would have been a really rough fight for Fusion University to defend anyways. Then OpTic invests everything, literally everything they have, into a losing fight on second, where you don't need to use all that to take second normally. They compounded a mistake in Gray getting picked off with an even bigger mistake and lost most of their time as a result.
Yeah, 2 negatives don't make a positive at that point. But, I mean, ultimately, that is where a lot of teams start losing steam. If you lose that fight right there before second, that's where we see a lot of defenses just able to hold. If they're going to hold anywhere, it's going to be right there before second.
Yeah, OpTic definitely looked like they came into this map with a couple of set plays they wanted to run. They knew some things they definitely wanted to do. And when they were executing these set plays, that it was clear they were both starting from line of scrimmage and they were both kind of going with what they wanted to do. They had success. But when Fusion University started kind of changing it up and forcing them to react in real time, we saw it suddenly Sharp wasn't necessarily as effective as he had been. Certain key players for OpTic Gaming were just not necessarily doing what they needed to do to win the fights.
Well, you think to some of the final fights there where normally Sharp was going to the back line, ripping apart tanks and supports, but even though Zachary wasn't necessarily killing Sharp, Zachary had an orb on him and was checking Sharp, where you take a look towards the final bend on Numbani, Sharp's trying to get to the back line. What does he find? He finds Zachary. Zachary's shooting him, forcing him back, and okay, even though they had an orb on Zachary, maybe it's more resources spent there, but also means Sharp isn't killing your backline. Yeah. So Fusion adapted here.
Yeah, it was almost impossible because they were fortunate to be able to hold right there at second, just before second, because we saw how far back the Fusion University defenses were holding. They were holding right at that underpass. And so when you are there, the Tracer, any lane you go, if you come in from the left, mid, or right, you get funneled in to that second checkpoint. And so from there, there is no sight line that is not available for the supports to be able to spot him out and be like, oh, okay, there's Sharp. We don't have to worry about him.
All right, well, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Who Are You. He struggled somewhat on Nepal, but looking as cool as the other side of the pillow here on Numbani, doing work that Blade being sated handily.
And the great thing about Who Are You, it's not even so much that he has huge blades. Oftentimes his blades don't always work out, but he's very good at channeling dash resets, right? Where he goes in, gets one kill, dashes to the right area, picks up another, and it's sort of what he does here. It's a mark of a great Genji as well. It's sort of what made Shadowburn famous, is that what do you do after you get a kill? Well, you dash to the right area, and you make it 2 kills.
All right, well, Fusion University has equalized. We're going to see what happens in the series after we take a short break. Don't go anywhere. More Contenders North America coming up.